friends, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be learning about the poem Mother to Son, written by Langston Hughes. Before we start, let us look at what we will be doing in this video. We will be learning about the poet, introduction of the poem. We will be analyzing the poem in detail. We will be looking at the summary of this poem. We will be discussing the various themes of this poem. We will be looking at few key points, and finally we will be discussing and identifying the figures of speech in this poem, which include poetic devices. So first, let us look at the poet. Mother to Son is a poem by Langston Hughes. It was first published in 1922 in The Crisis, a magazine dedicated to promoting civil rights in the United States, and was later collected in Hughes's first book, The Very Blues. He was an American poet, social activist, novelist, playwright, and columnist. So now let us look at the introduction to this poem. Mother to Son is a poem by Langston Hughes. The poem describes the difficulties that black people face in a racist society and many obstacles and dangers that racism throws in their way, the obstacles and dangers that white people don't have to face. At the same time, the poem argues that black people can overcome these through persistence, resilience, and mutual support. The mother narrates her own life journey to her son. She says that her life has not been so easy. It had so many ups and downs. Despite all the challenges, she never turned back. She has kept climbing through landings, corners, and darkness. She asks the boy to follow her and keep moving forward without turning back or giving up. She inspires him by saying that she is still going steady despite life's hardships. So this is the introduction to this poem. You will understand better as we move forward. So now let us look at the analysis of this poem. So we will be discussing the meaning and analyzing the poem together line by line. I will be going very slowly and line by line and giving you detailed explanation so that you will be very clear with the understanding of this poem. So first, let us look from line 1 to line 2. Mother to Son, written by Langston Hughes. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So here we understand that here the mother, well, son. So the mother is talking to her son and asking him to give her full attention and says, life for me ain't no crystal stair. So this is how a crystal stair looks like, right? So here it is clear that the speaker is a mother who is talking to her son. Well tells us that they were in the middle of a conversation and she wants her son to pay attention. She is giving her son advice about how to survive and thrive in a racist society and bases this advice on her own life. She emphasizes how hard she's had to fight to be successful. It calls for the message of perseverance in the face of hardship. The crystal stair symbolizes the power and privilege that white people enjoy in a racist society. The poet refers to crystal stair because crystals are smooth and beautiful. It suggests that white people can achieve their dreams without many obstacles and reach their goals. So here the mother is advising her son and telling him things from her own life experience and says, life for me ain't been no crystal stair, which means life for me has not been very easy or comfortable, and life has not been a very smooth journey for me. It has been very hard, and I've been going through a lot of struggles, and I have reached thus far. And she tells her son that for her life is no crystal stair, but for people who are not like her, right, for people who are fair skinned, life is a crystal stair. They can achieve their dreams, their goals, because in a racist society they are given more preference, and it is seen that they can achieve anything without any obstacles, and they can reach their goals. I hope the first two lines are clear. Now let us move on to line 3 to 7. It's had tacks in it and splinters and boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor bare. So here these are all the key points. It has had tacks, splinters, boards torn up and places with no carpet on the floor that are absolutely bare. So here the mother talks about the many obstacles in her journey. She explains that her staircase had sharp nails and splinters on it. The boards were fallen apart in some places, and sometimes the boards were bare and had no carpet on them. Here, tacks refers to short, sharp-pointed nails with broad, flat heads that are pretty painful if they pierce into your skin, and I'll be showing the pictures for all of these in the next slide. Before that, let me explain what all of this is. So tacks are short, sharp-pointed nails, and splinters are thin, sharp, they're commonly used on wood, glass, metal or plastic, and it becomes lodged under the skin. Here, the term boards torn up symbolizes the major obstacles and severe hardships and structural damage in the speaker's life, representing a dangerous, unstable path rather than a luxurious and easy one. And places with no carpet on the floor refers that it's not soft, it's very hard, and it's not smooth, it's pretty altering, and also the severe hardships and dangers that she had to face in her life. So in these lines, tacks, splinters, boards torn up and no carpet on the floor represents all the struggles that she faced in her life. They show that her life journey has not been luxurious, and she had to overcome many obstacles and hindrances that could restrict her from moving forward. This tells us that her life was in danger, and each step represents something new to fear. The fact that boards are missing from the staircase speaks about the lack of support she received. Of the boards that do not remain on the stairs, she comes to places with no carpet. Again, describes the poor conditions that she had to face and what struggle it has been and still is for her to live. So in the earlier second line, we saw that life has not been a crystal stair for her, and now she is explaining about the stair that she had to be in. The stair that she had to be in had tacks, it had splinters, boards were torn up, and there was no carpet on the floor. Now let me show you a few pictures so that you can understand this better. So when she's talking about her staircase, she says there were tacks. These are tacks, they are small short nails, splinters, and boards were torn up. So this is how her staircase looked like. So imagine climbing through a staircase that had all these harmful pointed nails and things like that, and after climbing down the stairs, she says that there was no carpet on the floor for her feet to rest. So that's how she exclaims and exaggerates her life journey to her son. So now I hope you can imagine how she's trying to explain how hard it is for her to live, and she advises her son to not give up. So now let us move on. Now let us move on to line 8 to 13. But all the time I've been a climbing on and reaching landings and turning corners and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't be no light. So the mother says that, but all of this time I've been climbing on. So you can see the stairs. This is a very imaginary picture of the stairs that the mother tries to bring into our notice. It has nails and it is, the boards are torn up, and you can see there is no carpet on the floor for her feet to rest. So the mother says that despite all the obstacles, the mother has not given up. She has been climbing up the stairs of life, and she is still climbing and still moving forward. She tells her son that she wants her son also to know after all of this that she has been struggling and still climbing the stairs. So whenever she reaches the landings, she does not give up and has not stopped to take rest. So here she says that and reached the landings. Whenever she has reached the place, or the upper place, still she has not stopped to take rest and she's still continuing her journey. Landing suggests different phases of life. So these are the places the stairs might take a turn or she might be able to rest. So whenever she reached these landings, she went ahead and turned the corner without fear. She has not been afraid to go through darkness even when there is no light. So here she says that sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So here light is a symbol of hope, positivity and guidance. She kept climbing the stairs even when there was no hope and none to guide her. She was not afraid of what might be on the other side even when she was entering into the dark. She wants to pass this to her son. Even though she knows how bad things can turn out to be, she is unafraid and strong to face them. The dark places have no light. So this means that either she is the first one to reach there or she is one of the many people who have seen the same darkened corridors of life. Now I hope this is also clear to you. Let us move on to line 14 to 16. So the mother says, so boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps because you finds it's kinda hard. So here the mother again addresses her son directly. The first line also we saw her calling her son. Now again we see directly she grabs his attention and says, she asks him not to turn back. So this is very important, the advice the mother gives. So don't turn back, don't sit down on the steps. The mother asks him not to turn back. She tells him no matter what he might be going through, now or in future, he cannot turn back. There is nothing down the stairs that will help one make it past an obstacle ahead. She advises him not to settle down with problems, which is to set down the steps. So she says, do not turn back, no matter what happens, not turn back and stop. You need to continue your journey no matter what. She says, do not sit down on the steps. Do not pause if there's a problem. Do not settle down if there is a problem. Do not sit on the stairs. You should continue climbing. So do not sit down on the steps. Very important. He should never lose hope and motivation to move forward in life. She says that he has to face bravely all the difficulties even though they might be tough on him. The troubles that can come his way should not dampen his spirit and he must strive for a better life. He should persevere in the most difficult parts. That's what she says here because you finds it kind of hard. Because she knows that his life journey is going to be hard, but she motivates him and tells him no matter what happens in life, you have to thrive, you have to strive and you need to move forward because We can't stop. We need to continue climbing up the stairs. You can't settle down. You can't sit on the stairs and regret your life, right? You need to move ahead. And she says that he should work hard and persevere and have hope to move ahead in life. And he has to face all the difficulties and never lose hope. I hope this is clear. Let us move ahead to the 17th to 20th lines, which is the final. Don't you fall down, for I see still going, honey. I still climbing, and life for me ain't no crystal stair. So the mother warns her son against falling. The mother says, don't fall now. Right? She says there might be chances where you might give up or fall, or people might even push you from the back, but do not fall down. The steps he might take are full of hurdles, but he should be so careful that he does not fall. He should not be discouraged or misled by any obstacle on the way of life. The stairs must be handled carefully as they are broken boards. There are tacks, there are splinters, and there's no carpet on the wall to avoid. The mother sets her own example to inspire her son. She has not stopped climbing. So she says, I'm still continuing to climb. She sets her own example. She says, I'm still going. And she addresses her son with love. This shows the love of the mother towards her son. The mother says that she is still climbing and she addresses her boy as honey, which shows her love and attachment to her son. These are not of one's own making, are only emphasized by those brought on by one's choices. The staircase becomes more difficult depending on how one handles their own life. In the end, the mother again repeats that even though life is hard, she is still going. She is still climbing. Very important. She is still climbing. She hasn't stopped and she does not even have a instinct to, give up. She is still climbing though there are hardships. The last line is a repetition of the second line of the poem, and the mother says that life has not been smooth and fair for her. It has not been a crystal stair. So you can clearly see the hardships the mother has gone through, the problems she has faced, and how she is, motivating her son and asking him to follow her paths, asking him to follow her footsteps and not give up. We can see that through this poem, the poet has not only shown us a mother's deep love for her son, but also exposes the harsh realities of a racist and unequal society. We can clearly see that the mother's life was never easy. It was filled with struggles, pain, discrimination, and even hardships, but she never chose to give up. Her message becomes a powerful lesson for all of us because no matter how difficult life becomes, we must continue to move forward with courage, hope, and perseverance. The poem reminds us that strength is not found in a perfect life, but in the determination to keep climbing even when the path is broken. I hope I have made justice to my explanation. I hope you have understood each and every line and also made note of all the important points and keywords as I explained. And I hope I have made things clear and you have no doubts. If yes, kindly let me know through the comment section below. So here we come to the end of the explanation of the line by line detailed explanation of this poem. So now let us move ahead and look at the summary of this poem. The poem contains a mother's warning to her son about the stairs one is forced to climb throughout life. He must watch out for broken boards, splinters, and tacks. These things are there in order to throw him off. Additionally, she explains that although he might get exhausted or desperate, he is never to turn around or sit down. She is still trudging up the stairs and he can get to. The mother warns her son beforehand against problems he is going to face in his climb up the metaphorical staircase of life, being a member of the black community. The mother in the poem plays a role model to her son. She informs him of the obstacles he is going to face, advises him not to give up, and inspires him with her own example to keep moving forward. There cannot be a better role model than a parent like her. We can clearly see that through the poem. We can see her, love for her child and equally how hard she struggles and how strong she is to come thus far. So now let's discuss the various themes of this poem. Racism and perseverance. The speaker gives her son advice about how to improve his lot in a racist society through an extended metaphor about climbing a set of stairs. While white people can climb up a crystal stair, meaning they enjoy a smooth and easy life, black people are forced to take a dangerous and dark staircase. In this way, the speaker argues that racism makes it much more difficult for black people to succeed in society. At the same time, she suggests that they can overcome many obstacles through perseverance and mutual support. The speaker is realistic and straightforward about these difficulties. She does not sugarcoat anything. She does not suggest that racism will end. The speaker believes that she and her son can still lead successful lives despite the obstacles in their way. She offers the poem to her son as encouragement. She wants him to follow her example, to be as persistent and determined as she's been. The second theme that we can find in this poem is hope, courage, and perseverance. The mother's story has been a story of grit and perseverance too. She inspires her son with the example of her own life. She has never been afraid to move forward even through darkness and other hardships. She has always kept climbing the stairs. She urges her son not to fall, not to give up, and not to settle down, but to keep moving, overcoming all the obstacles like the way she did. The third theme that you can find in this poem is the mother as a role model. The mother in the poem plays a role model to her son. She informs him of the obstacles he is going to face, advises him not to give up, and inspires him with her own example to keep moving forward. There cannot be a better role model than a parent like her. So in this poem, she is not only advising her son to, encouraging her son with, mere words saying you should go ahead. Rather, she is setting an example with her own life and asks him to follow her paths. So if he is, at some point of time, if he feels low, he can look at the steps or the ways that his mother traveled and get inspiration from his mother. She does not only motivate or encourage her son, she leaves the example of her life for him to get inspired and motivated and move ahead in life. Also, since he is her son, he has seen the struggles his mother has faced and he knows how hard it is to face and overcome the obstacles. It's not necessary that you need to write only these themes. You can also express your views and take points from these as well. And as long as your justification is from the text and you have used keywords, you will get your respective marks. So finally, let us look at few key points that we can see in this poem. First, let us have a look at the stair which is described in this poem. The poet has used a staircase as an extended metaphor in the poem. The staircase here represents the way of life. It is the milestone one has to cross, the path one has to tread on in the journey towards success to achieve one's goal. The expression crystal stare in the second and the last lines of the poem suggests smoothness of the journey by white people. Our speaker, the black mother, had no such crystal stair, but hers was a rough and badly repaired staircase. It had loose nails and splinters on it and had no carpet in places. The mother had to climb up the stairs of her life with great difficulty, meeting dangers every now and then. Her journey of life has not been as easy as the white people in a racist society. So now let us look at darkness and light as explained in this poem. In line 13 and 12, the words dark and light are used symbolically. The mother says that she kept climbing up the metaphorical staircase of life, even through dark phases, when there was no light. Dark here symbolizes hopelessness and despair, while light suggests hope, positivity, and guidance. The mother went through some points of her life when there was no hope or no guidance to push her forward, but still she kept moving with her power of determination. I hope you have understood. So now let us identify the various figures of speech in this poem. This is very important and can be asked in the exam. So first we have enjambment. I have done a detailed video about the various figures of speech that is uploaded in this channel. Kindly watch it for better understanding. So the lines, but all the time I seen a climbing on. This is enjambment. Next we have alliteration. Alliteration means the repetition of a certain letter or sound. So boy, don't you turn back. So in this line we can see B is repeated in the same line. So we have the repetition of B sound. Don't you sit down on the step. So here we can see D is repeated twice and S is also repeated twice. So there's an S sound, there's a D sound. Because you finds it harder kind. So this is, we get a K sound, here also we get a K sound. So again that is also an alliteration. I hope this is clear. Next, consonants. Consonants means repetition of, a consonant alphabet. So, well, son, I'll tell you. So here we have the repetition of L sound. Dramatically we can see it. So that's consonants. It's had tax in it. Repetition of T sound. It's been a climbing on. So this is also a repetition of N sound. We can see the letter N is repeated here. Assonance. It's had tax in it. So here we have the repetition of I sound and both stone up. So we have O repeated in this line. It's been a climbing in. So been. So we have an I sound here and also climbing. Here also I is given a little stress while you read it. So again that is the repetition of I sound, and since these are all vowels, we call it assonance. Next, anaphora. Anaphora is nothing but a repetition of words at the beginning of successive sentences which creates emphasis and a sort of rhythm and makes the line more poetic, and it has an emotional impact because of the repetition of a word or phrase. It's generally at the beginning of successive clauses or sentences. So in this line you can see the repetition of and, again and here you can see the repetition of don't you, and here we can see I'll still. So all of this is repetition, which is anaphora. Next, polysyllable. When a sentence contains multiple coordinating conjunctions, typically and, in close succession, it results in emphasis. When we say and reaching landings and turning corners and something going in the dark, all of this we have a repetition of and. So this causes a figure of speech. So here the next figure of speech we can identify is refrain. Refrain is nothing but the repetition of a whole line. The 20th line and the second line, we can see the mother talking about, for me ain't be no crystal staircase. It is a repetition of a word, phrase or line. Typically it is found in the end of the stanza. So with that we come to the end of Mother to Son poem. Through its powerful imagery and figures of speech, it gives us more simple conversation between a mother and son. It's a message of courage, hope, and endurance in the face of hardship. We can see the mother's voice becoming a symbolic of perseverance itself, and it teaches us that life may never be easy, but we must keep climbing and keep on fighting, and we should never turn back. I hope the explanation was clear. If you have anything more to add to what I have said or shown, kindly do so in the comment section below. It will be a great help for each other. Thank Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned and let us meet again in another educational video. Till then, thank you and happy learning.